Boomers get a lot of heat, but they also got a lot of things right. They bought homes when prices made sense, stuck to long-term investing, and didn't swipe their way into furniture debt. Say what you want, but they built real wealth. That's why the gap hits so hard. A Credit One bank study found 33% of millennials feel worse off than their parents, compared to just 19% of boomers. For many younger adults, it feels like the rules changed mid-game, and nobody passed along the playbook. This video gives credit where it's earned. It breaks down what boomers got right, then calls out what they skipped that left the next generation unprepared. But before we go any further, yes, this is an AI voice, but a real person wrote this. I earned my financial freedom and I'm not doing this for money. I don't like narrating videos, so I use an AI voice. Ignore that the voice is AI, the video is worth it. Check out the full details by visiting the link in the description. What boomers got right. Boomers aren't rich by accident. They followed a set of habits: saving early, avoiding debt, and thinking long-term. They also had timing on their side. But habits still matter, and this generation had some solid ones worth keeping. This sums it up. Baby boomers make up just 21% of the US population, but they control over 50% of the nation's $156 trillion in wealth, as reported by the Visual Capitalist. Habit of saving and debt aversion. Boomers didn't grow up on credit. In fact, many were raised by Depression-era parents who passed down a deep skepticism toward debt. That rubbed off. They leaned hard into budgeting, saving, and paying in cash when possible. That discipline stuck. According to a recent study, 38% of baby boomers pay off their credit card balances in full every month, a higher percentage than any younger generation. They also carry lower average credit card debt, and they're less likely to fall into the buy now, pay later trap that's tripping up so many millennials and Gen Zers right now. They weren't perfect savers, but they consistently lived below their means. That margin became wealth. Homeownership and real estate wealth. Boomers hit the real estate market at just the right moment. Many bought their first homes in the 1970s or 1980s, when prices were still relatively low and the concept of a starter home wasn't a fantasy. According to US Census data, the typical home value in 1985 was around $245,000, adjusted for inflation in 2024 dollars. Today, it's well over $420,000. Boomers didn't just buy homes, they stayed in them, paid them off, and watched the value double. It's no surprise that real estate accounts for a massive share of their net worth. Homeownership gave them stability and something to pass down. Consistent investing and retirement planning. Boomers showed up early to the investing game and stayed consistent. Many benefited from employer pensions, yes, but they also embraced 401k and IRAs when those options started rolling out. That consistency paid off. As noted by Gallup News, 66% of baby boomers own stocks, either through mutual funds, individual shares, or retirement accounts. That makes them the most invested generation by far, and not just in theory, but in practice. They weren't market timers, they were plotters. They stuck to the plan, rode out the crashes, and let time do the heavy lifting. And for most of them, it worked. What they never bothered to teach us. This is where the story changes. For all the smart moves boomers made, many forgot to pass those lessons along. And now younger generations are navigating a completely different world, with fewer tools and less guidance. It's not about blaming parents. It's about calling out the silence that left millions to figure out money the hard way. Financial education's absence at home. Ask most millennials or Gen Zers where they learned about credit cards, budgeting, or taxes, and the answer is usually YouTube, Reddit, or trial and error. Financial education didn't happen at school, and it rarely happened at home. In T. Rowe Price's Parents, Kids and Money survey, among young adults who did receive financial education in school, 34% still said their parents had a lot more influence on their financial habits, compared to just 8% who said their school courses made the bigger impact. It's not just about adding personal finance to the curriculum. It's about what's modeled at home, and the impact is showing. The Deloitte Gen Z and Millennial survey found that nearly half of Gen Zs, 48%, and Millennials, 46%, don't feel financially secure. The lack of financial guidance isn't just a policy gap, it's a generational one. Inadequate preparation for debt and modern costs. Boomers didn't grow up with $100,000 student loan balances, but their kids and grandkids sure did. Tuition costs have ballooned nearly 170% since 1980, while wages have barely moved. It's a different game entirely. What many boomers didn't prepare the next generation for was the sheer cost of entry into adult life. The average federal student loan debt today is around $38,000 according to the Education Data Initiative. The result is resentment. A survey by National Debt Relief found that 65% of millennials and Gen Zers are worried about baby boomers' impact on their financial future. It's not just the debt, it's the disconnect. No lesson on adapting to changing retirement models. Boomers often had safety nets younger generations don't. Pensions, employer matches, long-term job security. But few of them explained how to handle the shift towards self-managed retirement accounts or the risks that come with them. Today's younger workers are left figuring out Roth IRAs, 401k, contribution limits, market volatility, and early withdrawal penalties, largely on their own. And the uncertainty is real. A recent survey found that 53% of millennials are worried they'll never be able to afford retirement, and only 1 in 4 feel very confident they'll be able to retire comfortably at their desired age. The system changed. The expectations stayed the same, and no one gave them a plan that fits the new rules. Intergenerational wealth transfer. Boomers didn't just build wealth, they're about to pass it on in historic numbers. But a transfer this big comes with risks. If financial literacy doesn't catch up, the money could vanish faster than it came in. The $84 trillion question. This isn't just theory. A report from Cerulli Associates estimates that over $84 trillion will be passed down by 2045, with $53 trillion coming directly from baby boomers. It's the largest wealth transfer in U.S. history, but most of that money won't trickle down equally. The top 10% of wealthy households are projected to account for more than half of that transfer. So, while some families will inherit generational security, others won't see much at all. The stakes are massive, and so is the potential for loss if heirs aren't ready. Not everyone's planning to share. Not every boomer is in a rush to hand over their nest egg. In fact, many are planning to spend it themselves. According to a 2024 Charles Schwab report, nearly 45% of boomers say they'd rather enjoy my money for myself while I'm still alive. That shift in mindset means younger generations may be expecting inheritances that never come, or come much later than planned. It also raises the stakes for financial self-reliance. Relying on family wealth that isn't guaranteed is a risky retirement strategy. The takeaway? Assume nothing. Build your own plan first. Risk of losing the windfall. Inheriting wealth is one thing. Keeping it is another. Studies consistently show that 70% of inherited wealth is gone by the second generation, and 90% disappears by the third. The reasons? No financial planning, no budget, no understanding of taxes, investing, or compounding. It's like handing over a Ferrari to someone who never learned to drive. The result isn't freedom, it's a crash. Some heirs will invest wisely and build even more. Others will burn through a lifetime of savings in just a few years. How to fix what boomers missed? It's not too late. Boomers had good habits, and the next generation can still combine those with modern tools and smarter strategies. It starts by keeping the lessons that worked, then fixing what was skipped. Keep the good habits. Spending less than you earn still works. Saving early still matters. Avoiding lifestyle creep and staying consistent with investments are timeless moves. These aren't old school, they're just solid. Credit card debt, car loans, and high-interest traps are just as dangerous today as they were 30 years ago. So is waiting too long to invest? The math hasn't changed. Fill in the missing lessons. This is where younger generations need to catch up. Learning how compound interest works. Understanding how to manage variable income. Knowing how to file taxes, build credit, pick index funds, and avoid lifestyle debt. States that mandate personal finance education is seeing results. The Council for Economic Education found that students who take a required personal finance course are more likely to save, budget, and use credit responsibly, even years later. The good habits are teachable. They just have to be taught. Inherit smarter. Money without a plan is a liability. Families passing on wealth need to pass on knowledge, too. That means introducing heirs to financial advisors, sharing estate plans, and having uncomfortable conversations early before the money moves. But those conversations rarely happen. Only 15% of parents discuss inheritance plans with their children. That silence creates confusion, poor decisions, and missed opportunities, especially when younger generations aren't equipped to handle sudden wealth. Teaching the basics of managing an inheritance could be just as valuable as the inheritance itself. A clear plan beats assumptions every time. Boomers got some things right. Now it's on us. Boomers played the long game and, in a lot of ways, won it. They saved early, bought homes that became gold mines, and stayed the course with investing. But they didn't always pass down the how or the why. That silence left too many scrambling, guessing, and learning expensive lessons. The good news? Smart habits still work. Keep what they got right and fix what they didn't say out loud. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Also, don't forget the link in the description.